Let's generate our first PE file. We will be working on both DXE and DLLs, okay? EXEs are separate programs which can be loaded into memory as an independent process, okay? DLLs, on the other hand, or dynamic loaded libraries, are PE modules that are loaded into existing processes and cannot live independently in memory. And DLL's main purpose is to deliver some functionality a calling process needs. Okay, so let's say it's a cryptographic function. So your DLL has some functionality for the cryptographic functions, or it can be like a graphical user interface API, which draws some fancy widgets on the screen. Okay. Now we will start with a very simple, very basic examples, and these will be printing some messages on the computer screen. So what do we need to generate a PE file? First of all, we need a source code, okay? And during our course, we will be using simple C code templates for both EXE and DLLs. And we'll be adding some functionality to these templates. Apart from the source code, you also need a compiler, which basically takes the C source code or any code and translate this to, so it compiles it and links into the machine code, which is then understandable by the CPU, which is executing the process or the program. Now there is a slight difference in writing C program for EXE and DLL. The basic difference is how you call your code in your module or program. Okay, so in EXE case, there should be a function called main, which is being called by the OS loader when it finishes all initialization of a new process. Okay, so at this point your program starts its execution when the OS loader finishes its job. Of course, I'm oversimplifying all of this because the whole process of creation of the process is much more complicated. But we don't need all the details now. You just need to remember that EXE code, you have to have a main function. Now, on the other hand, with the DLLs, when you want to run your program as a dynamic library, it's a slightly different story. Okay, so the loader has already created a process in memory. Okay, and for some reason that process needs your DLL or any other DLL to be loaded into the process, and it might be due to the function your DLL implements. So as I said before, it can probably handle some cryptographic functions, and these cryptographic functions are needed by the process. So the loader reads a DLL from the disk, reserves some space in the target process, and loads the DLL into the space. Okay. Then it calls your DLL's function called DLL main, and this function it initializes the library, and then loader hands over the control to the process, back to the process. So then the process can actually call your functions from the loaded DLL. Okay. So when you implement your malware as a DLL, you need to implement a DLL main and export at least one function which can be called externally. So these are two main differences. The EXEs need a main function, and DLLs need DLL main function. Basically, that's the simplest difference. I know it all sounds really complicated, but don't worry. In the following section, we will be going through two examples for both EXE and DLL source code, how to compile them, how to run them, and how to analyze them. So let's jump, into our development VM.